Sorry,
All
go
right.
ahead.
I believe we're live. Let me go to my channel real fast and just see that this is going.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is.
You wouldn't mind putting the link to your live stream in the private chat, man, so I can join it and see and talk and stuff, please. I'm not sure if I've subscribed,
Oh,
but I am
oh,
on
you're
the.
here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for my YouTube channel.
Yes, yes, please, yes.
Yeah.
YouTube is literally shit, you know.
Holy fucking
Oh,
shit.
the fucking
Okay.
stalker, fucking stalker.
Yeah,
Sorry, can I burn
Matt,
your channel just to clarify?
Pig,
Sorry,
Matt.
Yeah. Yeah.
thank you.
My YouTube channel is in the. Okay. So all right. So anyone who might be watching this, we are trying to continue a discussion that was taking place on other channels, and
Three.
for
This
various.
is the third.
Okay. So, you Math Pig, were talking about your history and why you are open to the possibility of the reality of, this the quote supernatural. So please go ahead and continue that
Well,
thought.
I did actually did want to respond to that before Wildheart went like, "Did."
Right, right. Okay, so everyone on this channel, everyone's going to get a chance to speak. I'm not going to play any music, and I'm not going to interrupt anybody. So, Math Pig, maybe if you want to finish what you were saying there, and then Iron Man, go ahead after that.
Iron Man prefers to go by midnight, you know. Anyway,
I'm
Oh,
sorry, I did not
whatever.
know that. Midnight
oh
when
no, I'm not being a
Math Pig
dick.
is
No,
done.
their stream name this last like 2 weeks has been Iron Man, but this is midnight. Midnight's good
Yeah,
friends.
hi.
Midnight's good. Anyway, um, sorry, I was slobbering. Please ask your direct question again, eh?
Well,
My
all I wanted to say
definition.
is, so yeah, so
Oh
you
yes,
were
yes,
saying that
yeah.
you are raised in a family that believed in the supernatural, and I believe you were, and then Iron Man, when you wanted to finish that thought, Iron Man wants to say something, and
Yeah,
then
they did that wah 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 and threw me off. Yes, I was raised in a family of people who believe in supernatural. I could throw out really quickly and with no background or no context or anything. My mother is one of, I do believe, five. Yeah, my mother has five brothers and sisters.
Wow.
They grew up in the 70s. They all slept in the same bed as kids, small house, council house in the UK and stuff like that. And I have talked to my uncle, who I was very close to, and my auntie, who I went to quite often on the weekends and spent time with her kids more so because my mum was close to her. And I've asked them both about this, and they all have a memory of waking up with a figure at the bottom of the bed brushing their hair with my mother's hairbrush. My mother doesn't remember it because she was asleep. I have had conversations with my uncle where he told me he seen a man dressed in a black suit with sort of a 1920 suit with an old style fashionable hat, and this was the 80s, who went and knocked on his uncle's door as he was going home on the bus home from school. 2 days later, that man died. He also denied anyone ever being at the house. So I don't want to say I come from a family of crazy people, but in the olden days, so to speak, in the 70s, my mother's family was known as, weirdos and stuff. Like, my mother will tell you that she's seen a ghost, a woman who died in the hospital bed beside her, who came and visited her every night for 2 nights straight, up until my mother told one of the nurses that she was coming, then she never came again. And as I said in the previous stream, I've had conversations with my daughter quite recently within this last month. She said to me that she was not scared. I can't remember the exact words that she used because, again, it's 4:30 in the morning and I've been smoking and drinking. But she didn't. She's afraid of. She'd already planned her birthday. She has planned her birthday party and all. It's a whole thing that she's getting this year because me and her mum were chipping in together to get her a big birthday party because she's doing well with friends and stuff. And she said that she dreamt it and she is afraid that this will come true because she doesn't like surprises. She wants it to be a surprise. She doesn't want to know what's going to happen. I've had experiences like that where I've dreamt something, so to speak, or felt it when it's so I don't want to say I'm open to the supernatural, but I feel that I could use the statement I am truly agnostic. People say these words and use these descriptions, but I am genuinely open to these things. Maybe girls got our first confirmation in like a month and a half. Like
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
well. That's
Over to
I
you.
honestly, I think that's the best mindset to have is to take a position, but at the same time admit you might be wrong. So I think it's commendable. Iron Man, did you have a comment about what has been said already?
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to say on somebody's
Midnight.
channel. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yep.
hear you.
Okay, because you said midnight. I figured you couldn't hear me, but okay. What I was trying to say is that personally, like I honestly don't know whether the supernatural exists, but whenever I hear people talk about these stories of seeing of these things that they go through, well, the first thing I think of, okay, why is it that I've never gone through any of that? Like, you know what I mean? I hear people seeing these beings, these images, these things they can't explain, and I'm like, what the hell? That didn't happen to me.
So you're
But
jealous. Your
no,
core reaction is jealousy.
Yeah.
I wa- no,
Well, let,
my
let me
core
try
reality.
to let me try to maybe because the experience are in fact localized. So, it's like not everyone has seen a polar bear, but polar bears exist. We all agree on that. So,
May
maybe
I speak an anecdotal story that happened literally today on the way home, to give a reference point of where I am?
hold on. Yeah,
Well, I
I was gonna
was
say New Genesis connection. Good to see you. Glad to see you here. All right, go ahead, Math Pig.
well the whole being jealous thing kind of threw me off because it's not jealousy. It's just wondering why
Yeah,
it never happened to me.
it, I think he was joking about that. It wasn't a it
Well,
wasn't
okay,
a
but it threw me off.
yeah yeah.
But no,
Uh,
I was also like to say that when we talk about something like that, I personally think that stuff like that, and I think we were said this at the end, is that it can be, we can't explain it yet, but at the same time, I do think it's still it has a physical explanation, right? We think it's supernatural because we don't understand it, right?
yeah,
The whole thing of magic being science being magic when it's not understood.
my fallback for stupid people is flat Earth and thunder. It's like, yeah, we're
Yeah,
just not.
but well, big,
I get what you're
well,
saying.
okay, yes. So never mind. Go on, go on. I just wanted to make that point that I do think
Yeah,
that a lot of supernatural stuff can be explained. We just can't yet.
I think you're exactly right. I think a lot of the stuff that we categorize as spiritual and supernatural is this stuff that is beyond the ability of our empirical senses to, quantify and measure.
Yeah,
So we don't understand it, so we call it quote supernatural, but it's just as much as natural as the things we see right in front of our face.
Yeah, yeah. Like
yeah.
today, right? Again, I'm gonna be the whole proud daddy and stuff. We had the storm over here in Northern Ireland. I don't know if you know of
It's
this.
too chill.
Shut up, yes, fuck it. I'm gonna light a fire to melt the snowball, right?
Uh,
We had a giant storm once in a generation, 114-mile-an-hour winds over here. I had to fucking help a map up. So I didn't see my daughter last weekend because of the storm. Her mother lives very far away from me, like 2 hours drive, and she didn't want to drive in the storm. Understandable. And I missed out on my daughter last weekend. I don't get my daughter till like 5 o'clock usually on a Friday because my mum goes and picks her up because obviously I'm at work. But today I got all my stuff done early, and I was like, "Fuck this shit! I'm leaving at 1 o'clock. I'm gonna go see my daughter." And I told her, I was like, "No, no, I haven't seen her. I'm going." Right. So me and my mum, we went. We picked up my daughter, and I fucking totally lost my point because fucking I'm blaming Snowball laughing and interrupting me. We're coming home in the car, right? And
fuck
Sally,
you.
yes, fuck you. I got it back. Don't interrupt me. The reason I mentioned my daughter's confirmation, I know it's coming up. At the time that she was born, me and her mother had this discussion about what should be marked on her birth certificate. I personally wanted her to be clicked as other, and she wanted her to be clicked as Catholic so she could go through the confirmation and the same sort of stuff. Now, culturally Catholic, she did agree that it's basically an excuse to get all the family back, and she doesn't like carry Rosemary around or anything like that. Her mum has it beside her bed, but she's a cultural Catholic, not a practicing Catholic, if you understand. So my daughter's going through that in the next month or so. We were talking about her being in the back of the car without a booster seat. And my wee girl's fucking tall. She's like a 13-year-old close. She can sit without a booster seat. And we're talking about her height. And the confirmation came up. And then she said to me, I had to do, she got taken out of class today in her school, which the school that me and her mother decided to send her to, I apologize for rambling. The school that me and her mother decided to send her to is a completely mixed school of both Catholic and Protestant, which is big in Northern Ireland. It's also a very multicultural school and promotes itself as that. Like she can't even fucking take a Kinder Surprise to work or to school because there's a kid in her school who has a nut allergy. It's very progressive. It's good. All the rest of it. But she gets specifically taken out of class today because she is on paper as a Catholic and had to watch an hour-long video on confirmation. And we were talking back and forth about God. Oh, brilliant, full circle. Here we go. You asked about evidence. She asked me what my beliefs was on the whole God thing. And I said to her, honey, I am of the opinion that, like, and she didn't understand the wording that I used. And I goes, I'll make it easy for you. The sky's purple. And she was like, no, it's blue. And I was like, how do you know it's blue? She was like, I'm looking out the blooming window. It's blue there. And I was like, good. You believe what's in front of your eyes, what's there, the evidence that can be shown to you. So you don't take what I say as knowledge. You don't take what I say as gospel. You look, you find, you knowledge. Look out. It's, I don't know. I
No,
think that's my point, and any further would be
I
a random.
I absolutely agree with you that as far as we can, we should use our senses and our ability to reason to determine what's true. But there are, like you said, there are limitations to that. So if there are truths beyond what we can observe, they are still nevertheless true. So God
Would
may
you like
simply.
to hear her response?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Please go ahead.
Oh
You.
no! I didn't like no. I was enjoying your rapport. I was
Honestly,
enjoying
I
your.
did. I did not even hear you say anything about. Yeah. So please continue your story. I
Didn't
didn't mean to.
mention it. I didn't bring it up. No, you're totally right to go ahead. Her
No,
response
go
when
ahead.
I asked her what she thought of God, right? She is jealous to a point of the people in her class that 100% are believers without any questions, right? My wee girl is very observant of this, that, and the other. Like she notices a lot of stuff. Her brain is like me, 110%. And she is jealous of the people in her class because the people in her class get to talk to their grandparents. The people in her class get to talk to the people who have passed away. And she misses her grandfather, who is gone now, maybe 2 years. It was his birthday a few weeks ago, and as in a remembrance, her mum, her mum's boyfriend, her granny, her uncle, her two cousins, they all went to a Belfast Giants game. I don't know why. Harry never fucking went to a hockey game, but they all went to the family thing. It's on her mind, and she's jealous of that. That the ability to talk, she sees God as uh, as I described it to her, I said to her, like, God's a telephone. You can ring all day long, honey. Sometimes he answers for people, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes you get an answering machine, but it's all down to what you get in response, And I feel based on the evidence idea that I give her with the clouds and the idea of that, I don't know, she's fucking 7, but she's amazing. But that was her response. She sees God as an avenue to talk to people who have passed away. And she'll try and ring. She hasn't got anything back yet. She doesn't know if she will, but I don't know. She blows me away with her maturity.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that's how I don't know if you mind about how old is your daughter?
My daughter will be 8 in
Uh,
3.5 months.
yeah. Well, I think you gave her good advice because there are see here's the thing. I don't agree with Christians who say that we should just believe things that for which there's no evidence. I think we should see. Have you ever had a conversation with presuppositional, basically apologists?
Have I ever talking to Jill? Yeah, no. I've even talking to that silly agent. I was going to call you Snowball and be derogatory. Midnight, help me here. What do you call that Australian guy that had sex with God?
I have no idea. I do remember him though, but I don't remember his name.
Yes,
Interesting
yes,
guy.
yeah. He would spend 3 hours doing pre-sup on the pot. Yeah, I've had long, long conversations about presuppositionalism.
Okay, so
JG's channel I thought was funny tonight because I've got a recording of JG actually pointing out that we can decide upon our presuppositions, pointing out that we choose our presuppositions, which I thought was quite funny.
Weird.
well, my point was that it's good that you know what presuppositional apologetic is because my opinion is that presup is absolute trash in terms of
Oh,
At least we agree on that. Wow.
he's an atheist. He's a fucking.
no, because the interesting thing about presups is they all believe different things at the end of their line. So there are presups who will
That's
say
the thing with that's the thing with Eric tonight. There was no point in talking to him because his opinions were set in stone, presupposed. There was no change in his mind. Like that was Eric tonight.
well,
He just
there's two ways to arrive at what you believe is certainty. You can arrive at it through analysis and critical examination, or you can presuppose it as some do. And if
oh
someone, yeah,
no, I just had a brain fart. Nothing to do with you were talking. I just
oh well,
looked up and actually had a brain fart.
yeah. So I my opinion is that yeah, basically like the presups. I always think it's funny when I have like a Protestant presup and a Catholic presup, and they're both arguing at the end of the day that their religion is the correct one, and they're both saying that their religion is the basis of all possible human knowledge. But they
It's
believe
funny.
well, they believe completely. Yeah, it just shows you how
Well, it's funny
circular.
because in Northern Ireland, it's been going on for like 150 years, Protestants and Catholics. And it's got to the point with the arguments that literally the Church of Ireland, which is a Protestant church, is basically the Catholic Church, only they don't, shout about fucking the Virgin Mary as much. It's literally the exact, we are so interjected. Like when you say Catholic and Protestant to me,
Uh,
but
yeah.
I understand from an American point of view how you take it so serious. I was trying to
Well,
explain to a Catholic the other day because he was feeling, somebody made a Protestant joke and he was all blah, 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 blah. And I was like, dude, you should go to America. The difference between Protestants and Catholics is huge
it
compared
is. Yeah,
to
there.
what we have here.
You will very frequently you will hear each group labeling the other as not Christian in any way
Yeah.
and condemning each other to hell and all kinds of stuff. So they
Yeah,
really
at
don't.
least we agree over here that we're the same religion. We just fight over flags.
Right. They over here, like the other side is definitely going to hell, and they are not Christians. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
kind of,
very serious.
and it's sad to me because I'm sure. I mean, I know you don't believe in Jesus, but I doubt that's what Jesus wanted.
What do you mean by I don't believe in Jesus? I don't believe in the Jesus of the Bible. And how he is portrayed. I do believe that there was a historical figure that could be
Okay.
referred to as a foundational person of the Bible. I don't think there's like three or four or whatever, but there's rumor mills and people talk, and you can build upon that. So I do believe that there was a foundational historical Jesus, just not the one that's exactly described perfectly in the Bible.
Okay, so you're not a mythicist, as they would call them.
Oh, fuck no. Them bastards are crazy. Splitting the moon with a unicorn wing or some shit. What the fuck?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So, anyways, I guess my point was that I highly doubt that Jesus Christ would be happy with the way that different groups of Christians treat each other based on what I see as kind of minimalistic differences and things like that.
Yeah.
Superficial. Because at the end of the day, Jesus taught people. I mean, based on what is recorded in the Gospels,
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
He said Jesus
so
taught people and then give us evidence.
yeah, so based on what's recorded in the Gospels, what Jesus's main focus was people loving each other, regardless of their backgrounds and cultural differences, and even religious backgrounds. I would argue. It was
I would
based-
disagree with that. He also said, take up your sword and strike down your brother. So there is
Okay, yeah.
possible influences of other things being said. Generally, if you'd have thrown in 80% of the time he said this, that, and the other, I'd have agreed with you. But
Okay.
he did say, take up a sword.
He okay, yeah, okay. So that is in there, but yeah, if you look at
He also did go into a building that he disagreed with and flip tables over and stuff,
Well, I mean, if people are doing the wrong thing, then it's okay to get angry. I think
so you're against taxation. So you're against tax. You're all a capitalist and don't like socialism.
actually, no, actually, yeah, that is somewhat correct. I'm not one of these people who's like, oh, all taxation is theft, but I do believe that people are taxed way too much. But anyway,
I know. I was just poking fun, but yeah, that was just me being an asshole.
All right, let's go back. Let's go back to the general God. So you are saying you are open to the idea that some God might exist, just not necessarily a religious perspective on God. Is that kind of where you are?
I could probably if I could not just say yes or no. Oh my goodness, I'm one of those atheists. I would say that I am open to the idea that there could be a deity that exists outside of our three dimensions that may have started something, may not have started something. Like, I'm open to the idea that a life form, a being, can exist outside of our 3 to 4 dimensions. I will also give it a caveat of please show me a conscious mind without a physical body.
All right, that's a good question. Let me go there. In my opinion, and this is based on my own investigations, I do not believe science has proven how the mind arises.
If I could just interrupt, when you say your investigations, you mean anecdotal stories.
Based on my analysis of all the scientific data and what I've seen, I don't believe our scientists understand how consciousness and the mind arises from brain activity. So
I will agree with you on that to a point, but I will also then go and look up Google Scholar and throw you 5 or 6 papers about how we don't have free will and it can be proven by milliseconds that our brain just fires in a certain way and then we think about it.
Well, okay.
If you're open to that.
Yeah. Oh, no, I agree. So I've seen the studies that show that brain activity can be measured before an action is observed by the person. So
would you be open to the idea that God's finger, God's thumb, God's whatever could be making that spark happen?
Well, I would. I mean, maybe you're asking that a little bit facetiously, but what I believe is that the mind is immaterial, but it interacts with the brain and is the source of brain activity.
So you believe in a spirit?
Yes, I do.
A soul?
Yes, I believe the soul is the cause of brain activity.
Okay, so then I'm going to be a plonker and I'm going to fall back, and a soul is a thing that exists without a physical body. So can you show me just one existence, one thing that happened before of a conscious mind without a physical body? And that's where I fall upon the evidence.
Well, that's the whole thing, is that when you logically analyze the what humans are doing, it's necessary to introduce the idea of a soul.
If you don't believe in evolution, yes.
No, whatever your view on evolution is, like evolution, this is Like
Well, you're
evolution.
talking brain activity. No. You're talking brain activity. So evolution is very poignant on that from my point of view.
Okay. Yeah, I
Brain
think.
activity is a development of what has happened before.
Well, I think that animals have souls too. To be honest.
Oh, argued with a guy the other day that chimpanzees and to a point certain gorillas actually look after people and show a social network.
Yeah. So what I would say is whatever type of body, so like dogs have a dog mind, like gorillas have a gorilla mind, like humans have a human mind, and the mind is the immaterial source of our brain activity and thoughts and things
By
like
mind, just to say, by mind, do you mean the way we see the world, how we interact with the world, our reactions to the world? It,
our mind can be thought of as an immaterial substance
no,
that
but
is
you said a dog sees the world by his mind, a gorilla sees its world by his
right.
mind. Are
Yeah.
you talking when you say by his mind, how we interpret the world and also the limitations of our brain?
Yes. Well, no. Well,
Okay.
the
So I
mind, the
can't
mind.
expect, just to say, on that limitation, on that premise, I can't expect a dog to come in and see two piles of six apples and wonder why it's 12. They don't have that understanding. They don't have
Right.
that concept.
Yeah. Exactly. See,
But
I see.
gorillas, to a limitation, like dogs can show empathy. They definitely do.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
My dog is literally, I, I don't want to get down that route. We talked earlier. He's not in the best way. I can see that in his eyes when he looks up at me just from sleeping,
Oh yeah.
But the motherfucker only speaks like 100 words of the English language. He doesn't speak all of the English language. There's sit, there's stay, there's go, there's this. That's the limitation of them. So I can't expect anything more.
Yeah. To me, what it comes down to is this: if every single aspect of the mind and consciousness could be explained via natural like just we're looking down at the synapses and we see exactly why this activity is producing these thoughts, then I'd say there's no reason to believe in an immaterial mind because but I honestly I don't even see the basis of that because
Oh,
we can't look at let me just finish. We can't look at the molecules in the brain, whether they be neurotransmitters or anything, and see how physically by the laws of nature they are creating mental activity. We can only observe that they are related to mental activity. You see what I'm saying?
I do. And I'm going to point out again. Sorry, that was a wee bit dickish. I'm going to point out how we're at the limits of our knowledge now. It doesn't mean that there's not a scientific proof for it, or a scientific description, or theory, or thesis, whatever phrase word you want to use. We still know, as of like a year and a half ago, was the last time I looked this up or checked it and was talking about it or whatever. We cannot create a mathematical formula for the breakdown of radioactivity in uranium 934 or whatever the fuck that is, right? We cannot predict what atom inside it is going to break down. We can look at them all with our big electron microscopes and stuff like that, but we still don't have a mathematical formula to predict which one will break down. You know, so like,
Yeah.
please say please
Yeah.
say what you said before that. I've lost my point.
Well, yeah, no, it's interesting. You were going about the limit, and I think the limitations of our senses are one of the reasons I think all people should at least remain open to the possibility of God.
Oh
Because,
yes,
yeah, because we know our senses are quite limited compared to everything that we might possibly be able to observe in the universe and perhaps elsewhere.
yeah. I
So,
will argue and have this point that this is the reason why we don't use fucking eyewitness testimony in courts. Shit
well,
can
they
be
use
twisted.
it, but they don't. They eyewitnesses
I would rather take
evidence.
a fingerprint. Yeah, they'll take a fingerprint and some motherfucker says Jim was there and the fingerprint says Bob, they're gonna arrest Bob.
Exactly. That's why eyewitness testimony is not the most reliable kind of
Yeah,
evidence, but
yeah.
it is a minimalistic form of evidence. So if somebody like let's say somebody's in a grocery store or and there a robbery happens, they're going to ask the other people there, like, what did you see? Now the people there might give inaccurate statements, but they can tell you that something happened. You know what I'm saying? They can
Oh
say there
man,
was a guy and he had a hood on and he had a gun and he got in a green car, and somebody might say it was a blue car. But the point
yeah.
is, like, they both saw him get into a car and he drove that way. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, again, I don't want to talk about my daughter again and how fucking amazing she is, but again, with the retort back and forth, one of the things you've made me remember is I, she has a friend at school and that has conditions. And remember, I don't know if anyone remembers on one of the other channels we were on, and I mentioned about not using words that I wanted to so that I didn't influence the conversation. The reason that was prevalent in my mind is because there is people in my daughter's class that have physical and mental disabilities and stuff like that. It's a very open school and stuff. Not that my daughter, she interacts with these people, and one of her friends has autism. And I said autism, and she said, no, someone else said another word, Danny, to describe her. And I really, my my brain was thinking bad words that kids would say because kids are nasty. I
Yeah.
didn't want to influence it. Yeah. And I didn't want to influence that. And I asked her to say it in a sentence and this, that, and the other. And this was on the topic of evidence, right? And the reason she brought it up and got on this was because this particular person said that they fall asleep a lot. They're, I was going to say narcotic. What is that word that when you fall
Insomniac?
asleep?
No, no, what is it? Narcolepsy.
Narcoleptic.
Yeah, okay.
Narcolepsy.
Got it.
Yes, narcolepsy, right? And she was like, but I've never seen her fall asleep, Daddy. And I was like, okay. And she was like, her sister says she falls asleep. And I'm like, right. So you've got two data points, honey. If you had three, you'd be great. But her sisters, so sometimes you have to take them at their word. And I made the point that because it was narcolepsy and not just like, I've got a purple unicorn, that's something serious. You know, that's
Yep.
something that carries a heavy weight with it.
Hmm.
And considering that the person who's in your class, which is her sister, and why she knows the older person, uh, also backs her up, then that's something that you would take with credit. You
Hmm.
know, I don't know. Sorry,
So,
she's
so
just very
let me.
mature.
So I want to try and get, like. So you seem like you never really know, but you seem like an open-minded individual. So let me ask you, what do you think the chances are that, first of all, you could believe in some God, and second of all, that you could maybe maybe commit yourself to the idea that Jesus revealed that God?
Did for the first 12 years of my life. I was involved with the Salvation Army from I was 7 or 8. I was in training to be a junior soldier and go on to be a minister. And the reason I went haha earlier is because I looked over and my 1.5 inch thick Protestant Bible with like depictions of Leonardo DiCaprio and all, or not Leonardo DiCaprio, fuck me, pictures of Christ and stuff drawn by Leonardo da Vinci is in that Bible, and I'm using it to hold my amp up at the minute so that my lead reaches to the TV. And I felt quite disrespectful. I have a Salvation Army Bible, New Testament over that. I have a Gideon Bible. I have so many. Like, the reason I'm interested in this is because I was very involved with it. I had an incident, I had an experience, a non experience, whatever you want to call it, when I was about 12. And I went on, and I think it was two. I started dating a girl whose family was also Christian. But in one of those, we don't have a church in a church. We don't have we don't have a congregation in the church. We're in like a hotel function room, and like, oh my goodness, like 3 years after me and her broke up, her father left because it was like a cult thing. That was mad, and I've been here, there, and
So I guess my question is, so right now you do not consider yourself a Christian in any sense. Like you don't. Let me. So to me, there's two
if
questions.
someone asked me, like you asked me, man, I'll give you the same answer, right? And I know it's not good and it's not the answer you want, but I consider myself a true agnostic and open to the possibility of shit I don't understand yet.
Okay.
That's about the best way I can put it.
All right. Well, so how close are you to believing that? And I know you've already discussed this, and you said you're open. But if someone put a gun to your head and said, do you believe in some God or not? Which, like, you have to say one or the other. Like, which way would you go?
Okay, and again, anecdotally, this is how I explain myself. Sorry for my brain. Watched a video yesterday from an atheist channel, not mention it, and they were ripping on a Christian because the Christian was all, there ain't no atheist in a foxhole. I would struggle there. They were all, oh, fuck me, look at all the atheists in the army and this, that, and the other, and all the rest of it. I'd struggle. I couldn't answer that. I don't know. At the end of the day, I would probably,
So you're getting the bullet in your head is what you choose the bullet rather than make
no,
a choice.
what I'm saying is I don't know.
Okay, you don't know.
I wouldn't say I'm an atheist, shoot me. What I'm saying is I would probably actually fall on the line of, okay, God exists, don't shoot me. And I would probably, in that moment with a gun to my head, because I'm a very emotional in the moment person, would feel that, like, I don't know. I don't know. But I would be open, and I can't say definitely not. I can't say no, there's no way in this earth that I would say, fuck you, God, shoot me in the head, and stand my
Yeah.
point. I'll be honest with you. I generally don't know. If my daughter was 35 and had a family and a kid of her own and everybody was happy, shoot me in the fucking head because she's happy. If it happened tomorrow, I'd be like, I'd plead to God because, she's my world.
Yeah.
It's a lot of situational things. And I'll be honest, man, I don't know.
Well, okay. Yeah. So that's kind of like why, like, to me, I am very, and again, I'm saying very certain, which is not completely certain, but I'm in a place where I am I'm very certain that some God exists. And by God, I mean an intelligent, like, aware, sentient being that created life and the universe.
Okay.
I don't see how no God, I don't see how there can be no God. That's because
Could I ask you? Could I ask you a question? Maybe with the possibility of rephrasing that. You don't see the possibility of no God. Okay. If I rephrased it and said, would that be the same as you don't see the possibility of the existence of the way the universe is right now without an intelligent design behind it?
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah. So to me, there is a true dichotomy between the basically the powers of natural forces and an intelligent agent. Like you
Okay.
will, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, something just popped into my head when you said that
Yeah.
about that. And
So,
okay,
like,
are we going old Earth creationist or new Earth creationist?
personally, I'm an old Earth creationist.
Good man. At least you're there, right?
Yeah. So, on
I'd
my
be
channel,
open to I would 100% be open to the idea that if a God, like the possibility of a God, this is one of a million, but there is a possibility of a God coming in and just flicking that beam that started evolution, like that, and getting it going. That's what I was
well,
raised in. Most people in Britain believe in evolution, but
yeah.
like 90% of people in Britain would identify as Christian. Oh, it's a bad statistic. I think it's something like 68 now. But whatever it is, people identify as a Christian, but they still believe that, they still understand and are taught in school that evolution exists because the scientific good guesses, incorporate that.
Well, in my opinion, and again, this is my opinion, The evidence for the idea that all life evolved from a single common ancestor is extremely weak, and
Oh,
there's way more
que-
evidence against it than there is for it. So that would be a
question.
fruitful line of go ahead.
Question.
Yeah.
Oh, love this. Right. This is great. This is why I like doing the YouTube things for the discussion. Right. Uh, when we say, and I say, oh, fuck, I don't like to do that whole pigeonhole thing. When people who believe in evolution, say Luca exists, do you understand from that statement that only one line of human or one line of life exists from start to finish? From the moment that one thing happened in a rock at the bottom of the ocean or from a fucking meteorite or whatever abiogenesis was, do you believe that that then came only that and continued on to us? Is that what you understand when we say that?
Well, well, yeah. I don't see how it could be seen any other way, unless you
Okay.
want to enlighten me.
Oh, brilliant. I'm going to try and word it as best as I can. Um, do you understand the idea that certain lineages of, we'll go back to the squirrels, right? We'll go back to the squirrels and they ate over the mountain. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about earlier, right?
Yeah.
So you've got
Yeah.
1 to 3, and you've got 5 to 8 on either side of the mountain, and you have a big
Yeah.
river up the middle. Okay,
Mhm.
so that big river, all of a sudden one day, big ice cap or whatever the fuck it was, flooded, gone. So you've
Yeah.
now only got 1 to 3 and 5 to 8. 4 is just wiped out.
Yeah.
Perfect, right?
Mhm.
So another 20,000 years go past, and 5 and 7 get wiped out because a whole fucking mountain range come down.
Mhm.
So we're now down to 1, 2, 3, and 8. You see where I'm going? At the end of the day, we get down to that one. Either it's 1, 2, 3, 8, or whatever. There's that one lineage that survives. When we say that we all came from a common descendant, we don't mean that we came from one particular being that existed and that's the only lineage. When we say that we came from one common descendant, that means that we came from one lineage that survived. That's why when you look back in the scientific records and stuff like that, and bad words, we've got mitochondrial Eve and the other Adam. We use these words not because they're Christian, but because they're in common knowledge and common words. But mitochondrial Eve and your other guy, Adam, don't exist in the same timeline. Mitochondrial Eve comes at a lot stage before that because of mitochondrial DNA and stuff like that. Now that hangs around. It's only like 0.5% of your father's DNA gets carried on in that for your
Mhm.
energy. But they don't exist at the same time, you know, because she had lots of lineages and stuff like that, which included your boy Adam. But it's that one and that her that existed on. When we say we have a common descendant of Luca, that's just the one that we can go back to. It doesn't mean that there was another 30 or 40 that could have involved later down. That's just the one that's common. That's just the one that happens to just follow that line.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Let me try and here. Okay, here's the thing.
Save me from rambling. Yeah, thank you.
Uh, well, no, you make some good points. Here's where I am. To me, all life does have to go back to the first single-celled organism that ever came to be by abiogenesis. Would you agree with that? Like because well,
I would. I don't believe, personally, myself, in my understanding of evolution and what I've known, and right now with the state of mind that I am, that whenever we broke, or whenever the thing, whatever you want to call it, abiogenesis happened, there's about 6 or 7 theories that have good evidence behind them. All right. I'm a big fan of the underwater volcano thing. Them hot,
yeah,
hot
yeah,
springs. I'm a big fan of that. I just like that, right? Bubbling in the dark, and we come from that. That's my personal preference. There's evidence that goes both ways. Anyway, right? From that, it is an idea that there are small pockets of hot air that have created little tiny bubbles. You know, have you ever
Yeah.
had an Earl chocolate bar?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
idea, but on a very small scale,
Mm-hmm.
that have allowed things to coagulate together, and then RNA creates.
Yep.
That RNA then floats out into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you've got 60 of them, 70 of them, 70,000 of them that
Uh-huh.
all combine together. Some of them survive, some of them work, some of them don't. 30% of them get, dissolved by the sun because it's very easily broken down.
Yeah.
We have that one little bit that goes on. That one little bit splits into another 50 million. And out of that 50 million, two survive.
Uh-huh.
That two, they go on, it's not that there's
Well,
one. The idea of if you put 50 monkeys in a room, they'll come up with Shakespeare. You wipe out what doesn't work and you keep continuing with what does.
so let me jump in here. This is a, and I hate to be Eric and interrupt, but there are some
Please do.
serious scientific problems with these narratives that some of the, I'm going to call them atheistic promoters, don't tell people about. And I'm not saying you haven't done your research. I'm just saying when I look at the science, these kind of, first of all, you described what's called the RNA world scenario, which is one of the most popular viewpoints
I,
about
I can't say that I definitely did. I did mention RNA came first. If I can just clarify, right? RNA came first. We do now have messenger RNA and transmission RNA.
yeah,
But I do believe that RNA came before DNA because it just
yeah.
literally makes sense in my brain.
Well, that makes sense because RNA is supposedly a simpler molecule than DNA, and thus would have. Here's the problem. There are a lot of problems with that. First of all, there is not a single organism on Earth, no matter how simple, that operates solely based on RNA.
I
Every
agree
single.
with you. No, I agree with you 100% in that.
Okay.
Would you be open to the idea that we can put all the chemicals in a little vat and shake them up in a little test tube and shake them up and then pour them
Uh,
out and look at them? And by chemical reactions alone, we can create small strands of RNA.
I do want to quickly point out that most, not all, most viruses are RNA based. That is why they need to attach themselves to a host cell to reproduce.
Oh, I
Just
love that.
yeah,
Can we also point out that viruses, as last time I checked, are still not classified as life?
Okay, so that is
which is
correct.
very weird.
Yeah, the problem with viruses, which you already indicated, is that viruses cannot self-replicate, which is the
Exactly.
basis of. So the first living organism, what would qualify it as a living organism is that it can self-replicate. So viruses can't do that,
And
and
yet they're alive. Go figure.
No, they're not.
well, they're
That
not really
that
a.
that's the
They're
point. It's a fucking ooh. It's like mushrooms.
Well, okay.
It's
Well,
like
hold on. It's not. It's not alive. It's not alive in our classification. Obviously,
which is
but it
exactly
is
what
alive.
Ed's saying.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, but it is alive when it comes to nature. Our classification just seems to
No, no, no,
as it
no,
is.
no, no. It's alive according to nature. What you mean by that is it self reproduces. It reproduces by means. The fact that it's around does not make it alive. My scissors are around. My lighter is around. My drill bit is around. Hell, fuck! I've got like a 300-degree soldering iron beside me. The fact that
yeah.
it's
So
there does not make it alive.
I guess the problem I have with this
Whatever.
is for these strands of of RNA that are floating around in the ocean. First of all, the ocean dissolves RNA, so it's a huge problem. But let's just say there was some way it got trapped in one of these bubbles and they were floating around.
Would
Um,
you agree? Just to say, sorry, interrupting. Brains firing a million miles an hour. Would you
go ahead. Go
agree
ahead.
that there's rivers in the ocean of different salinities, either higher and lower than the ocean, that move under the ocean?
Yeah, I think that the problem is not just the salinity. There's a number of reasons that are like RNA and DNA dissolve in aqueous solutions. So
Yes, but there is different rivers of
yeah,
different. Yeah, and
yeah.
that's a high movement of water from one area to another. Like
So
given enough time.
yeah,
Yeah.
the pro. So
Supernovas happen. According to a sun, a supernova it happens every every fucking 500,000 years. But if you look at a particular area of the sky, you'll see five a month. You know, eh, Given enough time and a big enough area, anything that is highly impossible suddenly becomes very probable.
well, there's here's the problem. Science has never observed these RNA microorganisms in any environment ever.
What do you
Um,
mean in a natural
like
environment?
in a natural environment.
Can I give a reason why?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, whenever the first time it happened, there's fuck all about, right? There's literally water and I said water, fucking Ken Ham. Um, there's nothing around. Okay, if that particular little small thing arrived right now, a plankton, an algae would look at it and go food and eat it. It wouldn't have an opportunity to propagate or meet something else that would meet with it because a single cell organism, an amoeba, a fish would look at it and go, fuck me, there's something chunky and eat it. It doesn't have the opportunity now because of the way, the amount of the amount of life that's around.
Okay, you can try to explain it away that way, and that might be accurate,
Would you
but
say that that's a possibility?
it's a possibility. But the fact remains
And
that
considering how much fucking life is in the world, and considering that algae is in every ocean and bacteria is literally everywhere, I guarantee you, you buy a microscope, you go out and just scoop up the ground, there's a single cell organism there. There's like literally life of a very
yeah,
small scale everywhere. So if you took that life that we consider very small, the basis of life is like so much smaller. It's food for these things.
yeah,
So it's very difficult to find, if not impossible, to find this life outside. And if you create a scientific experiment, if you create an absolutely, is it hemi-sealed or whatever with air and all that, completely concealed area and just put dirt in it and let these things happen naturally, people would just go, that's an experiment. You controlled it. That's not real. So,
yeah.
like,
But
it's like a double entendre. You can't,
yeah.
you know,
So the first of all, for RNA world hypothesis to be valid, there would have to be quite a substantial amount of this stuff floating around in the early oceans.
if you
So
put that hypothesis up on screen and shared while you continue to talk so I can read it and understand exactly what it says rather than just these words that you're saying.
so
Sorry.
basically, it's what you describe. It's the idea that the earliest life forms basically self-replicated using solely RNA synthesis and replication, and then later DNA basically emerged through similar processes. But the RNA organisms formed the foundation of life. So
Yeah.
I
It's
think
the
if I
starting
think
box. It's the foundation. Yeah.
I think if that story was true, then some self-replicating RNA simple organism would still exist, or there'd be some evidence of it. But there is simply no evidence of any self-replicating RNA of any
Yep.
self-replicating organism that solely uses RNA. Like every organism self-replicates using DNA. So,
There's also no proof of a, conscious mind without a physical body, but
well, I already
we have. If I can just stick my wee fucking dig in there, we have more proof going back to show that that is possible than we do of a conscious mind without a physical body.
No, I disagree. I think logically,
Okay, show me your basis foundation for a conscious mind without a physical body that's not
right.
anecdotal like I've been talking about or a story of near death experience.
Well, I wouldn't even have to go to these kind of visions and stuff. I could just go to the ability to think any thought at all, even if it's just like, oh, I like chocolate, like whatever you want to say, any thought. The mechanism by which consciousness arises from matter has not in any way been established or discovered at this point. So
Three
here's the
days
question.
ago, I watched What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams. Have you seen that movie?
I have, yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah,
I
that's
love that movie. Holy shit! Sorry to
yeah. You're
interrupt.
talking. Yeah, I put that on for Stu. He had no idea what was going on. But yeah, that what you're describing now it's flashing that in my mind. Do you see where I'm going?
I don't see how this is connected to what I was saying
No,
necessarily.
because if you think something, it becomes real.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
I'm thinking of that scene where he,
yeah,
became the painting. Sorry, my brain's.
yeah. I guess my point is, to me, because physical matter isn't sufficient to explain ideas and abstract thoughts and things like that, an immaterial mind must necessarily exist. Now, I'd be willing
Again,
to debate that and see if it holds up to scrutiny, but that's kind of where I am
again,
on.
yeah. It's literally what Cuba Gooding Jr. says to Robin Williams. Isn't it funny that the physical is the joke?
Right.
Oh, by the way, Matt Fig, I just want to say you may be drunk, but you're more coherent than Wildheart.
Well, I'm at my best when I'm about three quarters of a bottle through, But I don't know. I miss these conversations. I miss the banter.
Yes.
I tell you what I'm
Uh,
gonna do. We're not gonna go for that much longer, maybe half an hour, but I'm gonna post the StreamYard link and let other people in and see if they have any contributions. Is everyone okay
really?
with that?
That's
Oh
fine. I don't
yeah.
care. It's no channel.
Okay, yeah. And I'll say right now, let's just say I'm gonna close this stream down in half an hour. So I'm not sure if anyone,
Oh, I'd
no
love.
one's even
Yeah.
expressed, no one's even expressed interest in joining. I'm just gonna post the link and see what happens. But
No, no, no. Yeah.
yeah. So
I'm up
okay,
for that.
so
I'm on the phone, which is really funny because I have a cardboard box with a bag of coal in it. I have my server, which I just recently built. I have two computers beside that, which I bought on the cheap before Christmas. I was hoping to flog. I bought four. I sold two. And then I have my main computer over there. And not one of them motherfuckers is 100% completely complete because I've been fucking about with them all and I'm on my mobile. There's like literally five computers in this room. And yeah, I'm on my mobile.
we got Mike Nunya Biz in the house. What you got, Mike? Any thoughts?
It's none of his biz.
Greetings, man. Good to see you, Math Pig. It's been a couple minutes, but you probably don't remember me.
No,
But
no,
yeah,
no, no. The name's ringing a bell. The
yeah,
face is making me think Frank Zappa. I want to get
uh,
my titties and beer. Give me some
yeah.
titties and beer. But no, I remember none of your biz. I do. I do.
Weird Al Yankovic. Yeah, A's philosophy, love, and blessings. And does Iron Man mean he's a flat earther? Like Iron is Fe and Fe is flat earther? Is
No,
he like
no, no, no. Iron
okay,
Man
good.
is just an anime Marvel obsessed weird snowball. That's it. Yeah, disagree with me. Go on.
A's. You said a couple
Hello.
minutes. You said a couple minutes on. I don't. I just have a few seconds of quick questions for these brothers. And we're all atheists. You two are atheists, is my understanding.
Well,
I'm
I
an
am. So is math. Well, okay, never mind.
no. I fucking keep making this point. I consider myself to be a true agnostic. Don't put me in a pigeonhole. Makes me easy to shoot. That's the best way I can put it. I'm very
What
complicated.
is the
Okay. Well,
agnostic
I am an atheist. I'm an atheist slash pantheist.
pantheist?
Yeah, I believe that the universe itself is well, for lack of a better term, is God, and we're all part of that. So we all so
Oh man, there's a whole Viking thing going on, like a whole Viking Norse fucking worshipping nature with fires and shit. It's sold out. I was looking today. It's actually sold out. It's happening tomorrow night. It's like 15 miles from my house on an old Viking fort. And it's like a whole thing. And I'll send you the link. You'll be very interested. It's fucking sold out though, so I can't go. But it looks very interesting.
Doth thou know thy sire?
Oh,
That's Viking
hold on.
talk. That's
I
Viking talk
do
for you
apologize if I
guys.
don't hear anybody, but I'll go and look for the link. It popped up in my
No, I want
feed
to
and I
ask.
went to buy a ticket. But yeah, I'll pop out and I'll pop back in. I'll put the link in the private chat. Give me a second.
Yeah, well, while you're going, before you go, consider this question: do you guys, either one of you, the agnostic or the atheist, do you drink blood? Do
no.
you? And I think,
Only of the little babies that I kill.
and
Am I still here?
yeah, I think you're both. One of you is Math Pig. Are you married?
I was engaged, but no, I'm not married. I have an 8-year-old daughter. Me and her mother have a great relationship. We live 2 hours apart. I get my daughter for 172 days of the year. And yeah, no,
So
not married.
you're not a fornicator, clearly. Otherwise, you would have other kids and be bragging about the women that you have. I'm not sure about Iron Man, but
Oh
you don't
no, no,
fornicate.
no, no, no! I actually push against my. I had an argument with a guy at work. Well, not an argument, a discussion. I use the word argument, a discussion. He has a 3-year-old son, and he was winding up, as he describes it, his feminist sister-in-law about how he would be proud of his son coming home and this, that, and the other, and all the rest of it. And his wife, who I've met, who's very cool, was all, would you still think the same way if it was a daughter? And he got all worked up and shit. And we had a small conversation at work when I do my rounds. And I actually come back to him at lunch and I'm like, dude, I would be more annoyed if my son come home than I would if my daughter come home. Because of the way society puts it across this, that, and the other. It's like, your son's Jack the lad, but your daughter's a slut. You know, it's a double. No, no, yeah. Sorry, rambling.
So neither of you drink blood, none of you fornicate. Do any of you eat anything strangled?
I have 6 snakes and about 20 rats in my bottom drawer of the freezer, but I don't kill them myself.
And since you don't believe in any kind of God or any type of spiritual,
I
so to
didn't
speak,
say that.
entity,
I said I didn't. I am open to the idea. I'm open to
you
the
don't
idea.
acknowledge, yeah, you don't acknowledge it. If is probably more politically correct. So my
Oh, you're
point
just like
being,
my. You're just yeah. My friend insists that I call myself an atheist, and I won't. And their argument is you live your life as if God doesn't exist. Therefore, you're an atheist, and I disagree with that. But
yeah,
you know,
because the whole point of their God is to have the laws written on their heart, and here you have it on your heart. They're jealous. They don't get it. They're missing out on something. They think you need some fact. Like you need proof he exists. Otherwise, you're not in. I'm trying to point
no,
out to
I
you by
think that
their
is.
own rules.
I don't think there's
Yeah,
this emotional in that particular conversation I was referencing. I think it's more of just being an asshole over words because I do believe, in my opinion, and I've had this argument with a lot of people, words don't have definitions, words have meanings in the moment. Okay. It's how you're trying to describe yourself to that person in the moment of the context of what you're saying. Words don't
yeah.
have
I'm sorry
definitions.
to Yeah, I appreciate that, Mrs. So and so. It's Ms. So and so. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You know what? Let alone if I misrepresent somebody's pronoun today. It's gone that far. But I'm just pointing out that if you're not eating, if you're not fornicating, you're not drinking blood, you're not eating things offered pollutions of idols because you don't even believe in idols, right? And you're certainly not eating things strangled. Nobody in the world, no slaughterhouse in the world strangles a cow or a pig or a chicken. You're in like Flint. These are the rules of the Christians. You need to do those four things to get in and have your conscience seared with the Ten Commandments. The first three, you guys have no problem with that. There's no acknowledgement of a God, or there is a complete denial
I
of it.
have uh, I have an ongoing discussion with a person who I'm very friendly with at work on abortion. Right, we're not going to go down that route and all the rest of it. But I'm driving out of his particular bay today. He's doing his thing and I'm doing my thing, and I'm dumping a pallet in his bay for someone else, right? Because I can't get to the other person's bay because there's a thing in the way, and I'm like, ah, you can fucking move it later. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, look, we'll agree to disagree. And as I say, we're having this ongoing conversation because he's recently got married, he's had the kid and stuff like that. He met his wife at Bible camp, and he says, I'll tell you one thing, Robbie, we're always going to agree that it's wrong to kill a baby. And I'm like, it is wrong to kill a baby. But have you ever barbecued one with some like whiskey sauce? You know that, like, it's fucking, oh, yeah. He didn't go that way. He was like, it's like, look, man, our problem isn't should we kill a baby or should we not kill a baby. I'll always agree we shouldn't kill a baby. The difference that we have is when you think that there's this little tiny of for sale things and we're just a mouth and an asshole, that's a baby. That's. And I drove off on the forklift when he was all, rah! you know. So I have these conversations in real life. It's fun. It's interesting. I'm glad to have these people around me.
Yeah, they claim to know. It's like our Jesus spoke to the Pharisees, saying, "You guys would be innocent if you claimed ignorance, but you claim to know." It's the same with A's philosophy. Anybody in chat, any denomination of any Christianity to this very day, they think they know. Therefore, they're doomed. Number one, because they're saying that you need to come to their side, and I'm saying no. Paul wrote, "It's naturally written on your heart." Or by age you learn good and evil. Those two things is the law on your heart. People are trying to aspire to some sort of knowledge about God to get them in, and they're trying to get you to climb on board. Next thing you know, they're going to have you drinking blood. Okay, these guys drink blood. Paul said, and then those four things you guys and things strangle, you guys don't do any of those. So by their own rules, you guys are in like Flint. I just wanted to point that out before A's philosophy had the 30 minutes go up.
Frank Zappa's finished talking. Apparently, it's your go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will say you don't steal because it's not yours. It's not you won't steal because it's one of the 10. You'll say I'm not going to steal something because it's not mine. Why would I take it? There's a
Okay.
logical. I'm not going to murder because I know that it would hurt if I did it. Or maybe your rule on benefits society on or not.
That guy that I was talking about, I'm gonna be an asshole and talk like Eric over talking. But that guy that I was talking about with the baby and zygote thing and all that there, he recently, as he was walking out of the office due to a work incident, right? There was something happened at work and we didn't want the boss to find out and all the rest of it. And it's all like we're very relaxed at work, but he was walking. It's nothing serious. He was stealing. You want to know what it was? He was lifting 6 cans of WD 40, right? And everybody's only allowed like two, okay? But because he worked, it's a silly thing, right? And he walked out, and I lifted 4 cans out of his hand and put them back in the shaft. And I was like, "No, you're not allowed to have it." And he's like, give them. And he made the point of sometimes it's okay to lie, right? And this is a very strong Christian, doesn't like abortion, met the wife at Bible camp. They actually do Bible study 3 nights a week, very Christian person, and made a work thing about. And I walked on never thinking, took 2 steps and went, holy fuck, Frog just said that to me. I'm going back to fucking push him on that. So I followed him back down the store and went, come here. Did you just tell me? And his basic premise was, it's a white lie, it's okay. And I was like,
No, no.
oh,
Show me the law.
oh.
Show me the command where it says don't lie, and I'll show you the command that says don't bear false witness. That's more of a
His
court thing. This guy,
justification, right? I'll say
right?
this
This
and then
guy
you
was
build, and then I'll be
he
quiet.
was a
His
yeah he was
justification
a
was they recently bought a house because they've got married and they're having kids and stuff. He bought a house that's very old to do it up, and it has an asbestos roof, and he has the choice, right? Because it doesn't get checked to tell on his insurance for the house. You know, house insurance. Has he an asbestos roof? Has he not? It'll be more expensive if he tells it. And he was like, well, we made the decision. We're going to tell them. And I was like, yeah, you still stole 4 fucking cans of oil, man. White lie's still a lie. Drove off on the forklift. You know?
there was repayment. A's, I'm go ahead, A's.
No, go ahead. No, yeah, y'all were
Yeah,
exchanging.
that's kind of silly to be like, do you have to tell the truth all the time? You can't lie. No, the Nazis you're hiding Jews, and the Nazis come
I
knocking on your door.
totally did that tell him as well. I did. Would you lie? He agreed that he would say there's no Jews in my basement.
Yeah, he's stealing. He's lying to say that it's a lie sin, and then he's minimizing the lie sin to say, oh, it's fine to lie sometimes. No, you stole 4 cans of WD-40.
Well, he didn't steal for.
You're allowed 2, and you took 6.
You know, it was a whole wind up thing. We get on like this. Funny story is, his parents are actually from Holland, and he wears clogs to work. He walks in from the car park in actual clogs. You can hear this motherfucker clonking, and he's proud of his clogs.
And on
Well,
Sunday he eats blood. Go ahead,
all right,
Ace. I'm sorry.
let me try and throw a wrench into this friendly conversation here, and let me just try and get some thoughts. Let's just say hypothetically, not saying as a matter of fact, but there is a God, and this God has rules for how we should live. Isn't it kind of dangerous for atheists in that perspective, because they're living as though there are no laws for us to live by when there really are? Isn't that
Okay,
the
okay,
most
yeah,
dangerous thing that you can do?
okay, right. So let's just say that this thing, this person, this being, this conscious mind without a physical body has written down via men who are slave owners, goat herders, whatever you want to call them, and they've written it down. And their interpretation of what they've been told by this thing up there says this is going to happen, right? So we have their word for it. That is the best evidence we have. Like, again, I interviewed a guy that worked on the Dead Sea Scrolls, literally touched the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's the reason me and Richard actually don't do our show anymore, because I brought him on to counteract Richard, and he didn't like it. Anyway, the point I'm making is, we have these books, but at the end of the day, these books were not magically appeared out of nowhere from the direct word of God. These books, these things that, the congregation, what we call the Bible, is is written by man, you know. So we have their interpretation and nothing else, or we can live our life and be happy and be good people, right? And I believe that if I am a morally good person, as I explained to my daughter tonight when we were talking about good and bad, and I have so many philosophical conversations with my wee girl, it's shocking, man, right? And the idea of getting your morality from the people around you, provided they're good, it is going to 99% aligned with what I would consider your belief of Christianity. The only difference between you and me is I'm not so sure that there's a fucking heaven, right? Like,
Well,
my wee daughter's still questioning it. But we live our lives as good people. Motherfucking Stool, all right? I know you don't know Stool, and I know you don't know him, none you. Midnight will back me up. Stool is a person I met on the internet. Just talked to him. Hit hard times. No rent, can't go in. It's either this motherfucker gets homeless and will probably die, or I tell him to come live with me. He's now here 2 years as of last October, and I can't get rid of him because my wee daughter calls him Uncle Stu and says, "No, that'd be bad, Daddy." You know, you, I'm doing my best for the people and helping as best as we can for society. I'm not saying I took that motherfucker in so I can get into heaven. I'm just saying we do these things to improve society as a whole and not to improve our personal space. And,
All right,
you
I
know,
would also.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I
if
just
I
want to
don't
say
believe in Jesus, I still may get to the pearly gates and asked that question. And I don't think the question that's going to be asked to me is, why do you deserve to get into heaven? I think the question that would be asked to me is, why didn't you believe in me?
Iron Man.
I would,
Yeah, go ahead.
I would also add, Matt Pig, that you've been nice to a certain other person that basically threw it in your face.
We say that again.
Okay. I will also add that Matt Pig has been really, 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 really kind to someone else he met on the internet who then threw it in his face. He knows who I'm talking about. You're a
I'm
Alright,
good
guessing
by
the
the
person.
same person that's coming to stay with me for a wee while, who I've also invited and is coming over for St. Patrick's weekend.
Yes, that guy. But
That guy that I've said come and stay with me for St. Patrick's weekend. Okay, yeah.
yeah, I hope you know I hope you know what you're getting into, man. Like St. Patrick, okay? That is alcohol season where you are. So
Uh, no. You don't understand. Armagh in Northern Ireland, look it up online. It's one of the only cities in the world that has two cathedrals. Both of them are dedicated to St. Patrick. 15 mile up the road is where St. Patrick came from.
no,
Yeah,
like
he's
I'm not
having the
saying
full
anything.
St. Patrick's experience.
I'm
all
not
right. I
saying
wanna
anything about. Never mind.
hold on.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Sorry, we were
1 second.
Tanzania. Yes, I
So,
don't hold grudges. I love people.
so you all remember I said we're going to be closing down soon. Now, I'm going to bring on a good friend of yours for the end. So let's see
You're
how
gonna
this
bring
goes.
Jill on. See if it's Jill. I bet you it's Jill.
No.
Oh, it's Eric. Oh,
All
that's
right, hold
great.
on. Now, hold on. Since Eric just joined, let's let him speak his mind, and let's see if we can get an actual conversation going. So, or just, and by the way, Eric, I did say like 15 minutes ago that we're shutting down in half an hour, so this isn't going to last long, however it goes. But speak
That's
your
cool.
mind.
Let me say hi to Mike first. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. And Math Pig, listen, all I want to do is have a good conversation with you. That's all I'd like to do. And I'd like to have that conversation about the evidences for evolution. So, I'm perfectly willing. I don't want to break in on you, and I don't want to be broken in on. And I can understand we both felt like we were being overtalked. So I apologize for my overtalking of you. And anyway, let's
And
set
the same
aside.
goes yourself. I'll overtalk you and then apologize for overtalking you now and the previous conversations. Emotions were high. We both, yeah. No, I
Yeah,
would appreciate a conversation.
it's all good. It's all good. It's all in the past. So all I want to do is break new ground, put that behind us, and set aside something that we can look forward to, and maybe have an actual conversation where even if they have to allot us like a couple minutes apiece, a couple minutes at a time, just to make
100%.
sure that we hear one another out. I'm good with that.
No,
So
100%, man. 3 years ago, I had a Polish Catholic come up to me and square up to me over this, that, and the other, and all the rest of it. And 6 weeks ago, I went to his house and we went for a walk around the cathedral. And me, him, my daughter, and his three kids all went out for food.
yeah,
I am happy with people having disagreements, and I'm from Ireland. I'll punch you in the face, but next Friday I'll buy you a pint and
well,
apologize.
you may find this ironic, but I come from 2 long lines of Irish hillbillies in the United States.
There's no
So,
such thing as an Irish hillbilly. We call them culchies. Sorry,
yes,
go on ahead, Eric. The floor is yours.
well, that's all. But I just wanted to clear the air, and
All
you
right.
know,
Well, I think
we'll
that's
start it off
beautiful.
with a fresh conversation sometime.
Yeah,
And let me
that
just
was
take a moment to acknowledge all your guests and say hi to Mike and Math Pig and Iron Man and A. Thank you for letting me up, A.
yeah, no problem. So that was beautiful. I'm glad everyone's hugging again. Now let's end on a good note. So let's end it this way. We're going to yeah, we're gonna end it. So we're gonna have final statements in reverse order of when people join. So Eric, you get to have the floor again. Then we'll go Mike, then Iron Man, then Math Pig. Keep it to about 2 or 3 minutes. Whatever's on your mind or heart, just let it out, and then
I
we'll
really
close
like
out.
that approach. Yeah, sorry to do an Eric, but I really like that approach.
Yeah.
Last in, first to speak. Good man.
So Eric, say whatever's on your mind, and then I'll kick you out.
Hey, thanks. I probably disagree with everybody here on something, and I know everybody here disagrees with me on something, and that's okay. The important thing is that I'm glad that we can, even after a rough start, come back together and talk, and that's a good thing. I think that's where we should be, and I think that the fact that we're all passionate about what we believe, that's another good thing. So thanks, guys. That's all. Have a good night. I look forward to next time.
Thank you, Eric.
Appreciate that, Eric.
All right, Mike,
Good,
your time to
good,
shine.
good to see you, Eric. No, I ain't got nothing. I'll save you the time, brother. I appreciate the airtime, and yeah, I just think that the in Deuteronomy, he wanted the law written on our hearts. Jeremiah, the law is going to be written on our hearts. Jesus, he wants it on your hearts. Everything about the hearts, and then these atheists. Pardon my, excuse me, Mr. Agnostic. Then these brothers show up and they've got it written on their hearts. It's like I know they're in like flint. It's that obvious to me. Whoever's seeing a pastor, be advised, try not to drink the blood if they offer it to you. Try not to eat the wafer of his body if they offer it to you. But thanks again for the airtime, Ace. Good to see you, brother.
Good to talk to you. Thank you, Mike. All right, Iron Man, let's hear it.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you for hosting this little shindig after after we went from Eric's to what from Eric's to Walmart's to here. Holy crap! What a night! But no, I wanted to say I'll keep it brief, but I want to say something that that
Mm.
Matt Pig said before. Fuck you, Matt Pig. I heard that.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. But no, I remember him saying. I remember him saying that his daughter like really felt like really jealous of her classmates because they quoting from her perspective they get to talk to their loved ones because they really believe in God, and it got me thinking that there are a lot of people out there who try their very hardest to come to God yet cannot do it, and I always wonder why. Like, does God just not hear? Does God ignore them? Is there something fundamentally flawed with them that God just just turns his back on them? And it fucks up my head when I hear something like that. You
You
know what
don't
I mean?
believe hard enough. Believe harder.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that is the that is that is the that is the guilt thing they use. Believe harder than you don't like. Jesus Christ. I know this could
Keeping
be
it
an
brief,
entire
Matt. Keeping it brief.
what was that? Look, I'll just end with this. I know that this entire thing could spark an entire stream. So shut the hell up. So Matt Pig here can talk.
Yeah, I'm sorry we had to. That's a really interesting point, Iron Man. Why do certain people get miracles and revelations and visions, and then God just kind of seems to
Yeah.
forget all the rest of us out here? I agree. That's actually, I think that's a question that everyone asks at some point. Like, why do all these prophets get to talk directly to God, and then like, assuming you believe
Yeah.
in prophets and things, but everyone else just has to take their word for it. That's a really interesting question, and it's definitely not a bad question, and I can see how it could affect your faith, thinking that God is treating some people differently. So I can understand what you're saying there.
Yeah. Also, before you kick me out, can I get the link to the YouTube so I can listen to I can listen to it?
To my YouTube channel.
Yes.
I'll post it in the public chat. It's over there.
Well,
don't know
I
if you can
well
see.
I don't know your channel, so if you post it, so it'd be better if you post it
Oh,
in the
oh,
private
oh,
chat.
oh, the private. Oh, that makes sense. That makes complete sense. Let me go ahead and do that real fast.
Yeah.
So,
Otherwise, I wouldn't be asking for.
right. Excellent. Yeah. I don't know if you can see it there. There it is.
Yeah, I can.
All right, and we have So Iron Man, do you have it?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do. I'm gonna go now.
both me and you posted it like literally a split second between each
Okay.
other.
Yeah. So we have a surprise special guest, and it's the James Gang girl Nancy joining at the last minute. Before you go, Math
Sorry,
Pig. Let's.
sorry, can you just mute Nancy for 1 second, just so I can get my trail of thought out as you were doing that thing? Because I was sort of building up to a wee thing, and if I don't get my thoughts out, my brain
Yeah.
will
Oh, yeah.
explode.
Nancy, before you go, let's let Math Pig speak what's on his mind, and then you and I can chat for a little bit. How about
Okay.
that? Yeah. Go ahead, Math Pig. Say what's ever on your mind.
I'm happy to hang around if there's a conversation going on afterwards. It's grand. I'm good. But anyway, as you discussed earlier, and what Wildheart was just saying about experiences and stuff, as I said to you earlier, I was quote unquote in training to be a junior soldier in the Salvation Army. I was brought up in the Presbyterian church. My mother stepped in one time on our Sunday school, and she wanted to see what we were being taught. And it was basically do what you're told or you're going to hell, right? She didn't like that. She took us out of that. And there was 2 or 3 members of our extended family went to the Salvation Army. And they did a minibus where they picked the kids up on a Sunday. And my mum was like, great, I don't have to go to church anymore. Jesus is everywhere. You get to go and do your thing. I get very involved. Was I've had God-like Christian, experiences, and to share a wee bit of, who I am. My father, my biological father, and my mother broke up when I think it was June when I was 10. And as I say, I was very involved in the church at that time. I was going to church, going to the Salvation Army Hall 3 times on a Sunday. I was doing Bible study on a Wednesday and a Friday. The minister we had was very cool. Him and his wife, we would go to their house on a Friday. We'd watch a hockey match, a nice hockey match on TV. We'd have pizza. We'd do Bible study. Wednesday we played football out the back of the church. It was very good, you know. And when my mother and father ended their relationship, I went to the front of the church and I did my testimony. And that one time, even though I'd experienced it before, when I went to that and did my testimony, I just asked for a hug. I just wanted to be told, felt, made feel okay that it was going to be okay. And over the period of maybe 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, I realized that it was the people in the congregation that made me feel supported. It was the people around me that supported me. That one time when I went up and did my testimony, when it actually meant something to my life, there was no hug. There was no feeling, you know. You can go up to the front and do your testimony when there's 100 people shouting and being all hands in the air, and you get caught up in the moment and you feel that. But in the quiet moment, when there's only maybe 7 people, and you go and you ask for a hug, and that was the foundation of me losing my faith. And over the course of a year, that disappeared. I went full goth. Oh man, there's pictures of me fucking black fingernails and white black lipstick and all the rest of it. And then I sort of found my level, didn't care, and now I'm sort of on the agnostic, you know. So there you go. I'm now rambling. That's my
Well,
last statement.
well, thank you for that, and I'm obviously sorry to hear about that experience. I'm sure that was painful, and I can understand your reaction and feeling that way. But
Oh,
yeah,
motherfucker! I'm 41. That's 30 years ago. You
yeah,
know.
yeah, but we remember these things. But anyways, I appreciate you sharing that. And it sounds to me like you could be on the path home. So
Oh
I'm hoping
my goodness!
that my conversation,
Tell
it
me I'm
sounds to
on
me.
the path to a galaxy far, far away. I'd be happier.
Well, there you go.
It
Okay, well,
sounds, it sounds, can everybody hear me?
yeah, I can hear you, Nancy.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me like he's got memories that go back that, are very significant. And were you baptized at any time, Math Pig?
I was baptized. Yes, I
Okay.
had. Would you believe? I'm 1983 when I was born, and I was baptized in a christening dress. My mother still has my christening dress in her house. It's hung
Okay,
up in her
let's
wardrobe. It's a whole girly thing. I look like a woman. It was disgraceful.
let's go back on that thought there because you said you were baptized in a christening dress. Yeah, dress. I'm thinking dress
Oh, it
again.
is a dress. It was a whole dress thing. It was the one that my mother was christened. I was my mother's firstborn, and
Okay,
she
well,
used this. Yeah, she
let
used
me
the thing that she was christened in.
I
My wee
understand.
girl, like, yeah, my wee girl slept in my Moses basket that my mother slept in, that I slept in. Like, we're old and Irish. We don't throw
Well,
things out.
what I was trying to emphasize here, my daughter was baptized when she was about 4 months old in a Protestant church, and I didn't agree with that because I really feel that as Christians, we're supposed to be doing it of our own free will as adults, making that decision for ourselves so that we can receive the Holy Spirit. And I think that might have been something you might have been lacking because there is a real relationship. When I was 30 years old, and it was Easter Sunday. Actually, I don't believe in Easter. I'm a first century Christian. I believe in keeping the Sabbath day and all the feast days and that. But I was completely rebellious, and my husband and we had just gotten back from a perilous sailing trip across the Atlantic, nearly lost our lives. When we got back into port, we were with these born again Christians. Is he gone?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you heard this, Nancy, but we were doing our final statements when you joined. So I was
Oh,
gonna. Yeah, you might not have
okay.
heard me. You might not have heard me say that, but there were like 5 people in the room, and each one, and then you kind of joined like right at the very,
Yeah,
very end.
I couldn't get my computer to
Oh,
boot. I was
well,
having fits with it. If this isn't a good time, I didn't know you were at your end right now. So if
well,
you
the,
just
yeah. The only problem is I already kicked everyone else out, so I don't know, but I am glad to have you on the panel and to talk to you and to hear from you because it's been quite a while. So I don't know, like if you had any thoughts, that you had based on either what was said or just how whatever you're feeling, feel free to give those for the next, 2, 3, 4 minutes, however long, and then
I can
yeah.
finish this up too because I realize it's almost 12 o'clock my time. I don't know what time it is yours, but no, I was just re-emphasizing. It was like I was totally rebellious, and I finally, after I got back from this perilous uh, sailing experience, I finally realized there was this born again Christian group that we were associating with that was going to repair our boat and everything. And they said, we're going to go and have a baptismal ceremony this weekend. Are you interested, you and your husband, interested in being baptized? And I finally looked at him and I said, it's about time. Yes, I do. I want to. And I had been previously baptized and christened like in a household thing, or I wasn't put in a tank or anything like that. And I didn't really believe it was the true thing. But anyhow, I changed my mind and I got baptized. From that point on in my life, that was, oh God, 40 years ago or something like that. I can't remember. Anyhow, it was like a switch went on. I had no interest in reading the Bible at all prior to that. And from that point in time on, it's like I couldn't put it down. And it was like I breathed in every word of it. And I mean, it's like changed my life from inside. And it wasn't anything that I did. It was just, I think the Holy Spirit sunk in and said, okay, gave me a subject to study on. And that subject led me all around the Bible. And I haven't lost my faith since. I've had times where I've been low and down and out, but God's continued to prove this to me over and over and over, that he exists in my life. But it's sometimes just that soft, quiet voice that keeps me going. Anyhow, that's my testimony. If Math Pig is listening or whatever, or anybody else that has questions.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Nancy. That's very nice. Yeah, just I'm kind of in that situation too, where I can't say I can claim that, I've ever like felt God like, revealing something to me in a very direct way. But I would say that I just feel like I have a very great deal of certainty that God exists. It's just not something that I doubt. The only thing I doubt or question is like, what is like, how do I enter into right relationship with God? Like, what is my purpose on this earth? Like, but I don't doubt I don't doubt the existence of God. Just like, what does God like want me to do?
Well,
That's what I question.
I could ask you the same question. Were you baptized, like, dunked in water of your own free will and, asked to, told to receive the Holy Spirit, or was it some other experience you had?
Really, honestly, I kind of hate to admit this. I've never been baptized. So
Well,
maybe I need to get on that.
I think that's extremely important because Jesus said, he told his disciples to go out and baptize them in my name, in my Father's name, and and receive the Holy Spirit. You can't receive the Holy Spirit unless you're baptized. It's like a process. It's a covenant. And then his Father and him will come and make their abode within you. And that Spirit is now within you because you become the temple of the holy living God. And he changes you from within. He gives you full understanding. He tells you all truth. He lives inside of you. Just read that in John. Him and his Father will make their abode within you. That's a critical part.
Good to see you, Ryan. Yeah. So I agree. I'm not saying I would never say baptism is not important to the Christian walk. I'm actually probably saying like, yeah, the thing is like, who's gonna baptize me? Like a Baptist or a cat? Like who? I don't know. Like I can't find someone who like believes what I believe to baptize me. So it's like
I don't often talk about this, but I am ordained. And I've baptized one person and not physically in his presence. And this is the craziest experience. I was online on Facebook and some chat somewhere. I had communication with this one man. This was during the Iraq War. And when Iraq was taken over by, after 9/11 and everything like that. And this guy was Iraqi. He was a Kurd that was living in Mosul. And this is when ISIS came in and overtook Mosul. And they were killing people right and left, and he barely escaped. But he was working on one of our U.S. bases over there in the base exchange, working through the base exchange, and he kept talking to American Christian men, and he kept asking more and more and more, tell me more about the Bible, tell me more about Christianity. And he finally came in touch with me, and he wanted to be baptized, but didn't know how to be baptized. And I said, this is the best thing that I can do for you. Call me up. He called me all the way from, he escaped to Jordan. He called me up from Jordan on a Sunday morning or something like that, and I told him what to do. I said, we're going to pray on the phone, and you get in your bathtub and fully submerge yourself. And I mean, it's not a matter of it's a matter of a commitment in your heart, in your mind, in your head, what's the best thing to do. And it's your relationship with God. And only God knows what's on your mind and your heart and your soul. It's not about going to a church or a priest or anything like that. You can also be blessed. I mean, you can have somebody come right, you know, with you at the same time, be there with you to do that with you. But, you know, witnesses are important, laying hands on you to receive the Holy Spirit. It's between you and God. It has nothing to do with, you know, who's performing it or doing it, unless they don't believe in God or the, you know, Jesus Christ in the Bible. Do you agree with that, or do you find that helpful?
That is an interesting thought. It's something I certainly need to think about. But yeah, no. So I'll be thinking about that. But I'm gonna maybe we can talk about that another time, Nancy, because I got to get
Right.
to sleep.
Okay, me too. All right, you take care and night, everybody. Have a nice evening. God bless.
Thank you for joining, Nancy. I really appreciate it. Oh, I accidentally. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kick you. Did you have anything else to say?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, now I'm gonna kick you. Thank you, Nancy. Talk to you again, hopefully soon. I don't know who this is. Is this Oh, is this Math Pig?
Yeah, it's
Are you?
totally me. Yeah, it's
Oh,
totally me. I'm on my fucking phone. I hit back up on an Android as in that little triangle instead of the X in the top corner. And the last thing I heard was she just left. It was my daughter said, and I hit a bone. I'm gone. I just figured out how to get back. I'm on my
yeah.
phone.
So this was a kind of a little bit of a cluster mess of an ending. So people were joining during it, but we'll have opportunities. But I do appreciate all of your contributions, Math Pig, and your stories. And I know we
Thank you.
disagree on a lot, and hopefully over time, if we converse again, we'll converge on the truth.
Dude, one of my best friends at work, me and him disagree that much that when I went round the corner the other day, he did the whole Elon Musk tap the chest fucking thing just to wind me up. And there's an Irish comedian, Garen Music. I'll find it and I'll put it in the private chat before I leave. And I showed him this before it, and yeah. I like people who disagree with me. Who the
Well,
fuck wants everyone to agree with them?
eh,
I told you the story about me and my mum. Will not go down that whole fucking 45 minutes up the road going, "You're not a racist, are you sure?" You know, and like, I don't like people who agree with me.
yeah, as long as people are disagreeing in earnest. So I do believe that there is absolute truth, and eventually, hopefully, humanity will all believe everything that's true, and all our beliefs will be true. We're obviously a very long ways away from that, and we'll probably never see that day. But maybe it's conversations like this that will eventually get us there. That's kind of why I do this. And I'm sure that's probably why you do it too. We're trying to find that truth. Slowly but surely, humanity will. And sometimes it does seem like we're kind of getting dumber in ways, but I think eventually, maybe we'll get there. Um, but yeah, I'm about to shut it down, Math Pig. So hopefully we
No,
can.
no, that's cool. I just got kicked out, wanted to come in, finish my thing, say bye properly
Yeah,
without just going, bleh, and running
right.
away.
Yeah, I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, thank you
Thanks
again
for
for.
having me.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Talk to you some other time. Thank you. All right. And there's somebody Pratik. Pratik is asking very quickly. Pratik, thank you for being here. Pratik is asking, what are the commandments? What if for Christianity to be saved? I'm going to help you out, Pratik. In Luke chapter 10, verses 25 to 28, this is what's recorded in the Gospels. And the lawyer stood up and put him to the test, Jesus saying, "Teacher, what shall I do to inherit eternal life?" And he said to him, "What is written in the law? How does it read to you?" And and the lawyer said, "You shall love the Lord with your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." And Jesus said to him, "You have answered correctly. Do this and you will live." So those are the commandments. Pratik. Pratik wants to join, actually. Well, here's the thing. We were about to shut down the stream, and it's funny because people maybe I need to let's let Pratik. I'll give Pratik 5 minutes because I gave everyone else time. So I'm going to give Pratik 5 minutes. How you doing, Pratik? How you doing?
Hello, hello. So
Yeah,
you
do
remember
you?
yesterday? I think we have a
Yeah, I
chat
remember.
in some other channel,
Yeah, I
right?
remember Agnostic Heathens channel. I remember you exactly.
Yeah. So uh, we talk about the thing like Bible is corrupted, or like if the Bible is corrupted, then Jesus have to means in some other way, maybe some form of Jesus has to born to, you can say, to present the Bible in the correct form, right? Hello.
So I'm trying to understand your question. Are you asking like how do we know what Jesus said?
So no, I'm trying to say that uh, if the Bible is a kind of truth of God, right? Then why there is such a, uh, you can say corruption, or what I can say that misinterpret by many other people. One say that Bible died for our sins, and others say, and you say that no, by sorry, Jesus don't die for our sins, right? So I see that very contradictory statements in the concept that every Christian presents, right? So yeah,
So are you asking why are there disagreements about what we should believe as
yeah,
Christians?
and one Christian say like some say if and both and you can say that disagreement on the philosophy, like if I don't agree to you and you don't agree to me, one say that okay, you will go to hell and I go to heaven. So is this a rational way to treat the conversation, right?
Well, Pratik, there's all kinds of different people out there, and they have different mental capacities. They have different
Yeah.
emotions. They have different experiences. They've been taught different things. They've been raised to believe different things. So there's naturally
so
going to be
so
a whole. Go
so
ahead.
so in that expect, why we can't you can say make a sense that to reach a divinity there always be a different path and has to be pursued, right? This so
Well,
that's make the diversity, right?
well, here's the thing, Pratik. 2 + 2 = 4, and I don't care how many people disagree with that. There's no other
Okay,
answer.
so two.
It's the same.
Okay,
It's the
okay,
same for
okay.
religion.
Hello,
Yeah,
hello.
yeah.
See, 2 + 2 = 4. Okay, then -4 + 6 or -4, and you can say +8 is also equals 4. Why can't we see in that way?
Because the thing here is, let's say there's
See,
one
see,
religion.
see, see. There, if you just try to make you can say one path, right? It always, we don't born as a robots, right? We, the thing is that uh, God give us a concept to think, to question rational, right? We
Right.
don't like robots that to go in the same command of instruction follows and yeah, just do the thing, right?
Yeah. The thing
Yeah.
is, Pratik, all for a religion to be true, they all have to be going to the same place. So if you have a Hindu prophet, he has to be teaching the same thing that Jesus taught. If they're not both teaching the
See,
same
see,
thing, they're
see,
not both teaching the
see,
truth.
see, see. The thing is that uh, we believe in some concepts, right? Like reincarnation, concept of karma and dharma, right? So if you follow these three things, you will attain divinity. Whether you follow something or not, right? So it's just you have to do follow your karma dharma to attain the divinity, right? You baptize, you go to the and your karma and dharma will decide if you are. See, let's say if a person born with the you can say you were born in west, right? Your upbringing is different, my upbringing is different, right? So to reach a divinity for a one way is completely irrational, right? So your state of mind is always a different, and my state of mind is different. To
Right.
attain a divinity, we have to do so. See how the nature operates is in a certain way or certain functions, right? So God also creates some function. God is not dumb enough to create. Okay, you just take this statement, we follow that, and we reach to divinity. That's I think hilarious, right?
I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. I think I see what you're saying, but here's where I am.
No, see.
I,
Let's make a common sense, right? If we you can so you
let me
believe
let
that
me ask you this: what exactly is your question? Because I'm not exactly hearing a question necessarily. So what if you could simplify your question? What is it?
is Christianity is the only way in your perspective?
Uh, well, the path taught by Jesus is the only way. So if Jesus taught that we have to love our neighbor, and somebody else teaches something different, okay, well, only one of them can be correct. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if
Okay. Now
yeah,
let's hear me. So let's say a person born before Jesus, are they not going to attain the divinity?
so here's the thing: if they can, but they have to do the right thing. They can't. They would have to
Okay.
do yeah.
So if let's say after Jesus born, they don't follow that commitment, and they do the same thing what the people who do before the Christ born. So are they not going to attain the divinity?
If they are following the Ten Commandments, if they are
See, the
basically
thing
yeah.
is that I have a problem. I have a problem with that. You just mentioned 10 commandments, and so like, let's say if a person, you can say, don't hurt that commandment, right? Are they going to hell?
Yes, even if they haven't heard it, they can still live by
Okay.
it. As long as they're living by it, then they're fine, even if they haven't heard someone say it. But here's the problem: if someone doesn't tell them that's what God wants, then they might not believe that. So we need the prophets to tell us what God wants, so we can put our faith in them to live the right way. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay, I understand what I'm saying, but you are not making any sense to me. Means what I come from, right? So it's
So,
kind
right.
of
So
disagreement.
let's say you live in India, right? Or
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So let's say you lived in India 1,000 years before Jesus Christ. You never heard of Jesus Christ, all right? You can still
yeah.
go to you
Some
can still
Western, yeah.
you can still go to heaven as long as you live according to what Jesus taught, even though Jesus hasn't taught it yet. So the truth exists eternally before and after Jesus Christ, okay? Jesus Christ appearing on the earth did not change how people are saved and go to heaven. Only what Jesus did was how teach us the truth that always existed. So it doesn't matter when you live or what you've heard, as long as you're living by the truth, God will accept you. Okay?
Okay, so it's kind of hilarious that, let's say if I have a book, right, and if all the good things are written, I don't want to follow Jesus Christ and something. I just you can say live by that book, follow that same instruction, and so should I reach the divinity in your sense?
Whatever. As long as you have the right instructions, whether it's in a book or someone told it to you, or you just figured it out on your own, that's all that
Okay,
matters. The only thing that matters
okay.
is you're living the right way.
If if I figure it by my own, right? So it's also a way of path to reach the divinity.
That is one way to do it. It's a harder way
So
because
so so see, harder is simpler. It's depend upon the person ability, right? We can't justify the thing that okay, this is a hard way, this is the easiest way, right?
okay, yeah. So
Hello.
I guess that would be an opinion. I guess, but yeah, whatever way you figure out what the truth is, like, yeah, good for you. So if it's a prophet telling you what the truth is, okay. But if you
No,
are just
see, Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but if you figure it out on your own, if you just like sit in a room and meditate and like attain the truth through your own mind, it's the same truth. Like it doesn't matter how you figure it out or how you get that information. The key is that you abide by those lifestyle commandments.
So yeah, so that's what I'm trying to make a point, right? If some people believe that okay, this is the truth, and yeah, so so my point is to reach the divinity. There's a many point, so you have to follow certain things, right? But if a person say that okay, the you have to follow Christianity to reach the divinity, I think that's the false statement, right? Because nobody can tell the proof, right? And also, when I ask you about the, you can say, how the Old Testament is written, right? You told that there's a no historical evidence, right? Hello.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to what you're saying.
So so if 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 we don't have that history, you can say okay, you have the story of Adam and Eve, right? But how the Old Testament is written, you don't have that history. So why we believe that the you can say God present that Old Testament to the people?
Yeah, we don't know that. That's a
So
faith.
so
That's a
so rather than believing, try to seek. That's what I'm trying to say, right?
Oh
Trying
yeah,
to
absolutely.
the yeah.
But here's the thing, Pratik.
So
There are certain things we can't know. So we have to so we can't see what happened 6,000 years ago. So we have to take faith what is being taught to us. But there's no
so
way to prove it.
let's say yeah, I get your point. I know that it's kind of hard to you can say um, uh, yeah to provide every substantial evidence of the everything, right? So so if a person claims that let's say uh, the Christianity is the only way, right? So some has to see these points also, right? Rather than just preaching that Christ is the only way, a person can achieve divinity by many ways, right? Because it's kind of you have to experience the life, right? So that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, the thing is, you're kind of right and you're kind of wrong. If you
Okay,
say
how
because if you say there are many ways to divinity,
yeah.
well, there's really only one way. And
Okay, okay,
it
okay,
doesn't matter
can
how you yeah, go ahead.
okay. So uh, there's a many forms of life, right? So do you think that the you can say only human can achieve the divinity? Are you saying that? What about animals and plants and earth, right?
I don't know, maybe. Yeah, eventually. Who knows?
So okay, so let's say earth is relevant or human is relevant.
Uh it's well, it's how God has created reality.
See,
So you see
please
the thing
don't
is
try to answer with your common sense. Do always go with the God stuff, right? It's kind of you can say boring, right? What you think? I want to know that.
in my opinion, um humans have to follow the laws that God
See,
has
every
created.
time. See, I just answer your simple question, right? So
Okay.
if Earth is relevant or human is relevant, you just see that's the point. You guys always go to tends to follow a certain things, right? So if you tends to follow certain things and you believe that this is a right, if somebody doing a wrong thing and means somebody is doing their way, you always tend to disagree with that rather than experience their path, right? That's the fundamental
Well,
problem.
I see what you're saying. I think that there I'm kind of agreeing with you, but I think you might be misunderstanding me. What I'm trying to argue to you is whatever religion you're in, these the names of religions are just linguistic labels.
See, there's a no concept of religion in the God, right? There's a Christianity, so and so on. People born with no, you can set a tag, right? If you try to make a tag, then I think you are wrong. That's what I'm trying to say, right?
Well, we have to label things so that we understand. Like, let me give you an example. Just hear me out.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's say there's one religion that says we have to love other people, and let's say there's another religion. I'm not saying this religion actually exists. I'm just saying let's say there's another religion that says we have to hate people and try to hurt them.
Okay.
And the love religion is called love, and the hate religion is
Mhm.
called hate. So if you ask someone which religion are you, the label is
Mhm.
necessary to get an idea of like what that person believes. But it's just a label. The key is
Okay.
what the belief
I
teaches.
okay. I get your point. I get your point. So
Wait,
so
Math Pig, let me ask you, Math Pig, do you have a
see see
comment?
see 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 see. I don't have any. You can say. Um, I
If
don't.
I can, man, if you can just post the link to your channel in the private chat, my battery's gonna die,
Oh,
and
I'm
I'd like to
sorry.
put. I'd like. I'm sorry. I'm not subscribed. But if you could post it in the private chat, the live chat, whatever, so I can put it on the TV and I can move to the chat, let you have this conversation, but then I can still sort of
All right. Do
half
you
be
see
involved. But
I've posted the link to my channel on the private chat. Do you see it?
yep, thank you.
Okay. Is that what you wanted?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right, go on, Pratik. What were you
Okay.
trying to say?
So yeah. So love and hate is a two attribute of the same. You can say same coin, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to say that see, love and hate is the two attribute of the same coin. So I don't see. It's kind of
Well, here's the
not
thing.
making sense.
What if
See,
what if
see, see.
it depends on what your
Yeah,
goal
yeah.
is. If you want to reach divinity, only the love religion is going to get you there. The hate religion is going to take you farther
Okay,
away
so
into the hell realms.
let's say some people do the crime, right? Do you love him or do you hate him? That same
Hate,
love religion, people. Uh, uh,
right? Because
uh,
they don't follow their religion properly. It doesn't mean the religion is wrong. It means the people are wrong. So someone can follow the love religion, but because we're human beings, we're fallible, we make mistakes, we have emotions, we're weak. It doesn't mean the religion is false. It just means the people in the religion are not doing what their religion teaches. So you always have to look at what the religion actually teaches and not base it on how people in the religion act. Because there's a lot of Christians who do horrible things and live horrible, just as bad as anyone else, and they commit just as many crimes but that doesn't mean Christianity's bad. It means that they are not properly following their religion. So you have to ask yourself, what does Christianity actually teach, or any religion?
see, uh, I think the love and hate one, this one is kind of you can say not making sense in terms of religion that you're trying to make an example, right? So because a human have many attributes, right? Like we have a subconscious mind, we have a you can say jealous, admiring, and many other qualities, right? So these are the qualities present in the human being. You have to follow your sense to whether you have to love him or hate him, right? It's nothing to do with the religion, right? Am I making a point? Hello.
Yeah, you are. I'm listening to everything you say. The problem is the religion exists to teach you the correct
See,
way.
uh, let's say a 10 people, you can say, just landed on the planet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so and they don't know about anything, right? So
Mm-hmm.
are we grouping them as a religion, or they have to try to find their own divinity?
They have to seek the truth. They would have to find out what the truth is.
So that's what I'm telling, right? People, the things. See, so what do you think, is person intelligent or nature is intelligent?
I would say the person has a mind.
Why? Why do you think that nature don't have subconscious?
Well, I'd have to be
So,
shown
so
evidence. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I don't see any evidence of that.
okay. Let's say if you do some you try to do harm to the environment, right? Try to destroy the earth, right? So in what response, and then how Earth's respond, like in earthquake, tsunami. So the people try to cope with that, or just people get washed out and destroyed.
That could be. I mean, to me,
So
Earth.
see. The thing is that you have some you can say narrow hole. You want to follow that rather than exploring many things, right? That's Am I correct?
Well, yes. There's only. Well, here's the problem. There's only one true way to God, but it has different. It might have
Oh
different.
my God. I think I have to just go the thing. Okay, you can go with the discussion, right? The point that I'm trying to make, that uh, nature is more intelligent, right? Just try to uh, try to believe in your subconscious mind, right? To achieve the divinity. Follow the concept of dharma, karma, and you can say uh, reincarnation, right? So
Mhm.
let's say if a people were born on rich and people born on poor. So
Mhm.
why that same people born on with the same status? Why the inequality happens on the basis of birth? In that term, what is the explanation of your God?
Uh,
See,
well,
see, this is yeah.
I'm just
I
saying,
like to hear you.
wherever you are born in life, whether you are poor or rich,
See,
or
uh-huh.
you
Yeah,
have
go
to
ahead.
still follow the same truth. You can't say I'm poor so I can
Oh
steal.
my God. See. Okay, so let's say if your mother is sick, right? I'm just taking a reference, right? Example. Don't
Hmm.
take it as a personal way, right? And you want to have some money, right? And you see that some people is like stealing is the only way to save your mother. Would this action be a right or wrong?
It would not be right because you would have to ask for the money. You cannot steal someone's money to save your mother.
But as a you can say son, right? Uh, what is your duty? Do you have what is your responsibility to save your mother, or just
Well,
die like that?
my response, believe it or not, I
See, that's
got.
the that see that's the thing, right? There's so much of complexity, right? You can't just reduce to a simple X or Y, right? So that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, I'm saying I am to obey God, and that more important than any human being on this earth. My
See,
wife, my mother, my children.
e- every being is trying to obey to the God, right? So let's if uh, so I have you can say
You're trying
you
to.
can
It
say
sounds to me. It sounds to me like you're trying to promote moral relativism, and I'm sorry, I don't agree. Like,
see
stealing is always wrong.
I'm not I'm not I'm not trying to promote you can say moralism, right? I'm just trying to perceive that uh, so now the thing. Mm,
Hey, Pratik, let me say this 1 second. So I was going to shut down the stream about half an hour ago, and I want to talk with you. Do you think you can join a future stream and we can have this conversation?
yeah, sure,
I,
but
I'm sorry if you want to say, if you want to take like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and explain your viewpoint and what you want me to hear from you. Go ahead and do
yeah,
that, and I will think about it. I'm not going to say I'll agree
yeah.
with you, but I'll let you speak your opinion, and I'm gonna close out the stream, and then there's a future stream we can try to hash out our disagreement. How about that?
Yeah, maybe. if I available, right?
Yeah, if you see a
So
stream in the future, then feel free to join and express your perspective.
yeah. So the reason why I joined your stream that like in other debates, I have a great conversation with you, and I think you are the I think you is a question that I think try to promote a different, you can say, aspect, or you can say concepts. So that's why I joined your stream, and yeah, yeah. And I just want to just present my point that uh, if please go to the concept of karma, dharma, and you can say reincarnation. If you guys want to see how that works, and if you try to think with that logic, I think many more things make sense, right? Like nature means how the people have born, right? Like let's say if some born poor, some born rich, some have everything in life but don't have relationship. So why that's kind of thing happen, right? It's always you can say uh, our past experiences also matter, right? So yeah, thank you.
Well, Pratik, thank you so much. That was a really interesting conversation, and I really hope you're able to join again and continue to share your perspective and ideas, because I think we were getting somewhere. It's just unfortunately I have to. I'm pretty tired. I have to go to sleep. So, but yeah, please feel free to
Good
join
night.
again, and thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Yep,
Bye.
thank you. All right. Okay. Well, I guess final thoughts. Okay, so we covered a lot of topics. They started out basically discussing atheism, evolution. You know, sometimes when I hear Christians talking amongst themselves and arguing about disputes within Christianity, I really can't. I can sympathize with atheists. Some of the really ridiculous, crazy things that I hear Christians saying, it's like, no wonder there are so many atheists today, because Christians are just. I can see how atheists feel that they have an intellectually superior position when it comes to rational thinking and using reason and things like that. I think the problem comes when it reaches a certain point where they see through a lot of the irrationality of, quote, religion. And in my opinion, what atheists then do is what is commonly referred to as throwing the baby out with the bathwater. They're like, okay, these people are clearly mixed up. They're clearly not basing their beliefs on anything rational or provable. So there's no God. Jesus is made up. It's all a bunch of baloney. I'm leaving all that behind. I just want to appeal to atheists anyone who might be listening. I think that there are perfectly rational and reasonable uh, reasons, if I could be repetitive, for believing, first of all, that God exists. Okay, so that's the foundation. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the precepts under the bus. I don't think the existence of God is something that should be presupposed, but I do think it's something that can be discovered through rational analysis. I think that you the idea that some God, some mind, some being, some intelligence beyond our own exists and it created life. I think it's a very rational position. I don't think it's even a religious position. I think it's actually scientific. Now, once you get there, you have to ask yourself, what does this God want us to do? Why did it create us? What is its purpose for us? And that's when you get into kind of the jungle of religion. That's the question that religion tries to answer. And I think that it's not at all unreasonable to think that, now we don't understand why, but that God operated through prophets. Now, there are false prophets, and I'm not going to name names, but there are certainly false prophets that have muddied the waters throughout history. But that doesn't preclude the idea or disprove the idea that there are true prophets, and they have truly revealed the will of God. And not only that, but a prophet is really kind of an old-fashioned term. I think God is still speaking to people today. God is still revealing things to people today. There are many just normal people out there who have had experiences. Now, someone brought up, why doesn't God give everyone experience? I don't know. I don't have all the answers. But I really, truly believe that in the preponderance of the evidence that God exists, and to take the position that there's no God is, in my opinion, it's dangerous. It's not, doesn't make you a bad person necessarily, but here's the thing. If God has created us, and God does have a purpose for us, and does have rules for us, if you live your life believing that there is no God, and there is no rule book, and there is no judgment, but there really is, you are in a really dangerous place. And I know I'm not threatening anyone, but I feel like if our well-being, if you think about our well-being, this temporal existence is nothing compared to eternity. So our well-being on this earth, as important as it is nothing compared to the well-being of what's going to happen to us in the hereafter, assuming something like that actually exists. So we really need to get this question right. It's not something that we can just flippantly say, oh, I don't believe in a guy rising from the dead, therefore there's no God and there's no objective moral standard by which we're going to be judged. So we need to think about this. We need to not come at this from an emotional perspective. We need to put away presuppositions and biases, and we need to investigate this thing as soberly and objectively as possible and come to the absolute truth. And Pratik, I'm glad he joined. I'm not quite sure what argument he was making, but it sounded to me like he wanted to say there are many paths to God. I'm going to have to disagree. If one religion's teaching me that I have to love my neighbors and another religion's teaching me something completely different, then only one of them can be correct logically. So, or they're both false, and it's something different. But there's only one truth. There's only 2 + 2 = 4. It doesn't equal 5. You can't make up your own answers. There's a real reality out there, and the laws that will be the basis of our judgment aren't going to change based on our false ideas and false beliefs. I think God's going to judge everyone exactly the same way, regardless of what we believed or what we were taught or how we were raised or whether we were rich or poor or whatever. It's like the law of gravity. The law of gravity doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. If you jump off a cliff, you're going to fall to the bottom. Unless a couple angels, burst out of heaven and carry you back up into the sky. But I wouldn't count on that. I've never seen that happen. So, the law of gravity prevails. But anyways, I think it was a great conversation. I'm really glad at everyone who participated and listened. And I hope like I said, this conversation brings us a little bit closer to that ultimate truth. So, people saying conscious minds with no physical body is not scientific. Well, that's something we're going to have to think about, isn't it? I'm gonna say that's just something you're going to have to think about. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining. Until next time. Goodbye.